Hi all, we are from Intuit and we are glad to share in this forum the story of our platform migration to Pulsar. While this journey is still happening, we would like to share the progress we have made so far in integrating Pulsar with our messaging platform and also share some of our experiences and key learnings. In the next few sections, we will cover the background of messaging platform at Intuit and its current architecture, the factors that drove us to migrate to Pulsar, the POCs and feasibility study we did with Pulsar and the observations. We'll also cover some of the challenges we faced and the solutions, and finally the future roadmap. Let's first understand the current messaging platform used in Intuit and its purpose. Intuit builds products to improve the financial lives of our customers, and it is our mission to power prosperity around the world. Our flagship products like TurboTax, QuickBooks, Mint, Credit Karma are used by millions of customers in households and small businesses. With our product features that enable simplified tax filing and business accounting, we are able to touch upon the lives of our customers and make a big difference. Now, to support these products, Intuit runs thousands of microservices in its public cloud infrastructure, which work together to build the awesome experiences for our customers. Many of these services participate in distributed transactions, running as dispatchers, schedulers, processors, and observers. In order to communicate and work together to complete critical online transactions and business use cases while also being highly responsive, available, and scalable, these services use a central Intuit messaging platform that supports all the queuing needs within Intuit. Our messaging platform was built with the primary objective to support a highly available and reliable system which allows exchange of messages between these services. Due to the criticality of these use cases and the transactions, our customers expect from us the guarantee of message durability with zero message loss, multi-region support. We operate in two primary AWS regions, active support. The current messaging platform that is in production is built using Apache ActiveMQ. Let's see more about this platform in the next few slides. The current messaging platform has been running in production for around 5 years now using ActiveMQ as the underlying messaging software. It uses a set of brokers deployed across multiple availability zones and regions that form a topology called network of brokers. This diagram here shows a simplified view of such a network. As we can see, in a network of broker, each broker knows every other broker in the system and maintains a connection to it. This makes a network tough to scale as adding a new broker disturbs every other broker. An ActiveMQ broker handles both serving and storage together. All the messages published to a broker are stored locally on the broker host. These brokers themselves are hosted in a private subnet and are not directly accessible. We use NLBs and Route 53 DNS configuration to provide a region-agnostic public endpoint to our customers. Our customers use JMS APIs to publish and consume messages from the platform using this public endpoint. That was to provide a brief overview of the current messaging setup. Now let's see how the platform enables our customers to run their applications active-active. The network of brokers spanning both regions and a single public endpoint given to customers, it is possible for the producers and consumers to run in any of the regions or both the regions. Via the Route 53 endpoint, our customers typically get connected to a broker that is in their local region. If the producer runs in West, gets connected to a West broker. Similarly, an East producer gets connected to an East broker, like shown in the diagram. Because the messages are stored in the brokers themselves, producers typically see a low latency regardless of the region. Consumers also similarly get connected to a broker in their local region. Now, the messages for a topic can be distributed across brokers. It is possible for multiple producers of the same topic to get connected to different brokers, resulting in scattered storage of the messages. However, the network ensures that the messages are forwarded internally between the brokers and find their way to connected consumers. It should be noted that there is no message replication here. The message is present only at one place in any of the broker. It just hops between the brokers and finds its way to the consumer. Now, this setup enables our customers to build applications that are truly active-active. Producers and consumers can run in both regions. Producers connect to the local broker and publish with low latency, and consumers pick up the messages from both regions via the network hops. While this is little inefficient and there is certainly a waste of bandwidth due to the large volume of inter-broker traffic of messages moving between brokers, the system is quite resilient to individual broker failures. It is possible for multiple brokers to fail, but the producers and consumers reconnect to one of the remaining available brokers and continue their operation. Now let's see what happens when a region totally fails and how our platform handles it. When the messaging platform becomes unavailable in a region with its brokers down and all connections terminated, our clients transparently reconnect to one of the remote brokers and resume their operation. Producers now connect to a remote broker and start seeing increased publish latency. But then they are able to publish new messages and continue the business without any adverse impact. This is a key requirement from the messaging platform to let the business continue when a region fails. When the region comes back active, the network automatically recovers and the brokers become available along with the unconsumed messages. So with that background on the current platform, let's take a look at some of the factors that drove us to this migration. There were many factors that made us take a hard relook at ActiveMQ and look for solutions beyond it. On the technology side, ActiveMQ was certainly outdated with many inherent limitations. With all the new technologies that are trending currently, we wanted the platform to catch up to a latest modern cloud-native solution. Scalability was always a concern with ActiveMQ. It was never an easy procedure to add a new broker to the network and scale it up. Similar concerns were there with the maximum achievable throughput from the network of broker. With growing customer traffic that is only projected to explode, we were hitting the limits of the system. Cost overheads were also weighing on us as we were forced to increase the number of clusters due to the throughput limits of a single cluster. Operations overhead was another aspect that bothered us. With no central management of network of brokers, there is a high cost of maintenance operations. With all these concerns building, we knew we had to look for a better solution. And as we were looking for better solutions and evaluating multiple options, these were our guiding principles, mainly driven by our customer focus. Retaining support for multi-region and active customers was mandatory, while we also wanted to avoid the pitfalls of ActiveMQ. A single layer handling both storage and traffic, we wanted to avoid that. We also wanted to avoid the unnecessary interbroker traffic that was a significant overhead in the current platform. With that, we now come to the actual work that we did with Pulsar. We started our engagement with Pulsar with a feasibility study where we set up a Pulsar cluster in one of our pre-production environment. The Pulsar cluster was equivalent to an ActiveMQ network in terms of cost and configuration. To do an apple-to-apple comparison with ActiveMQ, we extended Pulsar Broker to perform encryption, decryption of every incoming, outgoing message. This is a mandatory operation as per our security guidelines. We have done the same thing with ActiveMQ also. With this setup, we went ahead and verified all basic messaging function used by our customer. We were able to verify the dynamic scalability of the broker and proxy tiers, a capability we were looking for. We verified message durability and the different modes of subscriptions and acknowledgements. We verified the scalability of the storage at the bookkeeper layer, which again was a feature we were eager for. And after running a series of performance tests, we concluded that for the same cost, a Pulsar cluster fared far better in performance than its ActiveMQ counterpart. We verified that the Pulsar cluster was able to support 3.5 times the throughput of an ActiveMQ cluster. We also noticed that the latency values were very contained and consistent even at high throughput traffic, which was another big win. With ActiveMQ, we would always see latencies shooting up when producers and consumers are connected to the same broker with high traffic. And we were also happy with the ease with which it was possible to centrally administer the cluster, managing the tenants, namespaces, topics, something which was hard in ActiveMQ. Based on the results of the study, we decided to proceed with the replatforming of messaging system to replace ActiveMQ with Pulsar. And this diagram shows one of our clusters currently in production. This is a cluster that spans multiple AWS regions. A global zookeeper spanning west and east regions keeps the cluster together. Proxies, brokers, and bookies in each region connect to one of the local zookeeper in the same region. With 3 independently controllable tiers, we were able to achieve a clear separation of concerns and make the platform a real next-gen system. While the proxy tier handles the concerns of security and connection management, the broker tier handles topic matching and serving, and the bookie layer handles the storage concern. We have also implemented a JMS wrapper library over the Pulsar client library so that our existing customers can easily migrate to this new system without any code change. All this was not possible straightforward. There were some challenges that we had to solve. So in the next section, we will discuss some of these challenges that we faced before we could get this production set up.
Let's see the challenges faced by us during our Pulsar journey. The Intune operates in 2 AWS regions, which is US East and US West. The OMS platform also spans across 2 regions. As the Pulsar Zookeeper is the heart of the Pulsar cluster, we observe that if one of the region goes down, the entire Zookeeper cluster becomes unavailable, as the Zookeeper is unable to maintain his majority core. As a result of which, the broker and proxy will also erroring out and going down, and entire OMS platform is unavailable for the customer for that particular duration. This was our regression case over our current solution, which is ActiveMQ based, where if one of the region goes down, the other region is still able to serve the customers. In order to solve this problem, we added another region, which is US East 1, and we have installed a single instance of Zookeeper and added to the quorum, so that if one of the region goes down, the Zookeeper cluster is still available, so that because the majority of the quorum majority is maintained, and then we will be able to serve customers on a single region failover. Once we were able to solve this problem, we start seeing another frequent issues with the Zookeeper. Even in the normal mode of operations, the Zookeeper was frequently getting seized and installed and making the cluster unavailable. When we further dig into the issues, we figure out that the US East region, the Zookeeper in US East region 1 was always getting elected as a leader, but unable to moderate and keep the quorum working. This was due to the high network latency in US East 1, because most of our traffic comes to West region. And we also observe that whenever the Zookeeper in East region is becoming a leader, it's also impacting our performance, while the most of the traffic comes in West region. We were unable to find the solution for this problem for a quite long time, and then we did, after doing a lot of troubleshooting and experiment, we found that the Zookeeper instance with a larger server ID was taking the probability of becoming the leader, and hence we had to make some configuration change in the Zookeeper config file, where we made the server ID values belongs to US East 1 at the smallest value. And after this, we have not seen these issues again back.
Thank you, Amit. Let me walk you through the latency and ledger issues we have faced during the course of our development. As we explained in the previous slides, we are active in US East 2 and US West 2. Our producers and consumers can connect from any region they belongs to. By design, Pulsar assigns single topic owner. Producers from both regions ends up getting connected to this broker via proxies. This resulted in high latency for the producers connecting cross-region. Average latency as high as 50 milliseconds. Let me walk you through the solution we have implemented to solve this. Since our customers use region-agnostic topic names and expect active support, we have to implement region-level isolation of topics underneath. We have implemented service discovery extension that is configured in proxy to handle custom lookup. This will return region-specific topic based on the region client is connecting. We also implemented namespace isolation policies to pin the topics to a specific broker. Also implemented wrapper over Pulsar client library that does the extended lookup for the region-specific topics. All consumers are connected to subtopics in both regions. This actually solves all producer latency, and always consumer receives the messages from, be it West producer or East producer, since it is connected, it is receiving the message. Let me move on to the next problem, the ledger recovery failure. A combination of broker and bookie crashes leads to a situation where ledger cannot be recovered and the topic producers are stalled. This results in new messages cannot be published for the producer. For recovery, we can do a quick restart of the bookie, but due to sync operation and delayed restart, SLAs are overshooted and results in customer impact. This is an implementation in progress problem. We are making changes to custom service discovery to detect this situation and redirect the producer to a subtopic in remote region. Thank you.
Here is a look at some of the next steps in our journey. We are in production now with restricted availability to our customers. We will enable our platform to be generally available with specific focus on enhancing the resiliency of our system, to enable transaction support, auto scalability of brokers, and to enable a central schema support for our developers. We also have long-term plans to move our platform into a cloud-native solution using Intuit's Kubernetes platform. We also have grand plans to support multi-cloud messaging. With all this, we are excited to look forward to our journey ahead. Thank you.